Hey, what's going on, Reyes fans in YouTube? It's Gabriel Reyes, and I am here to do my discussion tribute of Cameron Boyce. So in this video, I'm just gonna discuss about who Cameron Boyce was, who he was to his friends, to all of his fans around the world, what he meant to Disney and to everybody that watched him growing up. So first off, let's actually start with his family of where he came from. Believe it or not, if you guys didn't know already, his family, he actually comes from a very, he comes from a legacy family. His grandmother and a few other African Americans back in the I think around the late 50s, or I think it was like around the mid to late 50s. His grandmother and a couple of other African American students were the Clinton 12. And who the Clinton 12 were was that they were the first African American students to be, integrated into Clinton, Tennessee high school. So his grandmother actually was able to get an education, moving up to high school and everything. And if we all remember, the history of America and all that, is that we all remember that still at those times, people of color, mainly people of color, from African Americans to, Hispanics and all that, but you know what I mean. People of color were not allowed to go to schools with, white people. And knowing that Cameron's grandmother is part of that legacy, that she was, like I said, she was one of the first African American students of Clinton, Tennessee to go to high school and establish something magnificent, and that the Boyce family became part of American history. So that within itself is a family legacy that Cameron definitely carried with him. That he is proud of his grandmother for getting her education and for doing something that impacted American history. So that is a legacy that Cameron definitely carries with him. Alright, so now moving on to Cameron Boyce, the actor, the dancer, and the most kind person that anybody could ever meet. So the most interesting thing is that Cameron Boyce he started off in, like many other child actors, he started off in movies, but the most interesting thing is that I didn't know that he was in the movie Eagle Eye with Shia LaBeouf. So in that movie, he actually played the son of Michelle Monaghan's son, in which he goes on a field trip with the rest of his classmates, and he's part of the school band, which is really interesting, because when I watched that movie, I had no idea that was him. Like, it just blew my mind, because when I look back and looked up the many movies or TV shows that he did under his Internet Movie Database profile, it listed Eagle Eye, and of course I went onto YouTube, looked him up on Eagle Eye. He was the kid. He was the son of. Still, it still surprises me to this day that he was in that movie and I didn't even know it. I didn't even notice. But the one movie that introduced me to Cameron Boyce was actually Grown Ups, with Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, you name it. You name the comedians that we all grew up with. So of course he plays Adam Sandler's son. And in this movie, you can definitely tell that in this movie he definitely had that comedic charm to him. You could tell that Cameron was funny, and the scenes that he did, especially with the rest of his co-stars, was just hilarious. Especially when he's playing the son of Adam Sandler. And I gotta say, his interaction with Adam Sandler, you can definitely tell that those two they were always so funny with each other. Oh yeah, and I also forgot to mention that in the very films of Grown Ups, as well as the sequel, he also starred in those films with China Anne McClain, who we all know from, well, Ant Farm, from Tyler Perry's like movies and television. But of course, Cameron and China would end up working together and growing up with each other, and of course their friendship would always their friendship would always keep going up until they went over to the Disney Channel, and you could tell from there that again these two were just inseparable. So now we get to the point of when he started some of his early roles on the Disney Channel. Now, looking up some of the roles that Cameron did early on Disney Channel, I didn't know that he appeared on Good Luck Charlie, in which he played a look-alike of one of the sons. I guess it was Gabe. So I guess he was in an episode of that where he impersonated Gabe. So that's another thing I didn't know that he was in. So another Disney Channel show that he appeared on was Shake It Up. Now in Shake It Up, he appeared as a highlight crew dance member, and in that episode, I didn't realize that he was in that episode as well, because again, this was one of his earlier roles before he started on Jessie, and I didn't realize that in the episode where he plays those highlighter dancers, there was another Cameron that starred in that episode with him, and that Cameron happened to be Cameron Bikondova. I think that's how you say her last name. I know it's kind of hard to pronounce her last name, but she would go on to star as Selena Kyle in Gotham. So that's another actress, dancer that I didn't know that started with Cameron Boyce, or that was on a Disney show for that matter. And of course, with those early roles on Disney Channel, it wouldn't be until 2011, the year that Jessie premiered. And of course, Cameron Boyce played Luke Ross, one of the Ross children, and of course from there, everybody knew who Cameron Boyce was. He was one of the main stars, the most funniest kids you would ever watch on Disney Channel, one of the most talented, especially with breakdancing and dancing and everything, because Cameron, he was amazing as a dancer, just amazing. So it was from there that everybody knew who Cameron Boyce was, and from right there, he went on to work on other Disney Channel shows, making guest appearances, but as well as helping out in doing charity work and being a philanthropist, and just being the kind and wonderful person that he is. He wanted to tell people and show people that you can impact the world, that you can leave a legacy that people will follow and that they can pursue it. And from right there, Cameron, that's who Cameron was. So it wouldn't be until after Jessie ended that Cameron Boyce actually ended up getting another role on Disney, in which he would actually go over to Disney XD, and he would actually get his own show. And that show happened to be Gamer's Guide to Pretty Much Everything. Yeah, that was the show. He pretty much played a pro gamer who ended up hurting his thumbs in a gaming competition, and then from right there he goes back to high school and he tries to start up his own gaming team in order to compete in the gaming league again. And of course, that show lasted for 2 seasons. I saw a little bit of it and it was alright, but overall, Cameron, being who he is, he did good. He did good on the show. But of course, at that same time, he ended up getting the role of Carlos DeVille, son of Cruella DeVille, in the Disney's Descendants trilogy films and the franchise overall. And it was from right there that everybody started to love Cameron even more because of his portrayal of Carlos and his interactions with his co-stars of the Descendants films. From everybody to the directors, to the producers, to his co-stars, everybody loved Cameron. And a lot of the interviews that he did, you can tell that he was so passionate about what he did, of everything that he wanted to do, and the fact that he had more to give it just makes it sad. A life of 20 years that Cameron Boyce spent on this earth in his life. During the July 4th weekend of 2019, Cameron ended up passing away in his sleep from a stroke caused by epilepsy. And I kid you not, guys, epilepsy, that's something to not play with. That's something that you have to take seriously, because I have relatives and friends who have epilepsy, and believe me, it is really dangerous. It's a hard thing for people to have, because honestly, you never know when a stroke is going to happen, and you never realize that from that stroke, somebody could die. I think, it's just one of the hardest things to realize, that the fact that, when you have epilepsy, and you realize that when you have a stroke, you never know if that stroke is what's gonna end your life. And it seriously, it really saddens me on the fact that Cameron passed away at only 20 years old. Honest to God, that is too young. Seriously, that is too young, you guys. At 20 years old, Cameron, he had so much more. Honest to God, he had so much more to give. He had so much more to do. And from the interviews that his friends and co-stars did, from descendants and everybody else who knew him and his family, everybody knew that Cameron was such a loving person. He loved everybody. He was kind to everybody, and he wanted to give more. And it's hard. It's hard to say goodbye to somebody who impacted you, who impacted you or us so much, and that they passed away at such a young age. They had so much more to give. Oh God, man, just again, Cameron, he just had so much. He had so much more to give, and I'm happy for all the things that he has done, and the fact that his family started up the Cameron Boyce Foundation, in which it's gonna help fund education for all kids and everybody who is looking for education and getting scholarships and all that. So I'm glad that his family and whoever else started up the Cameron Boyce Foundation. Kudos to them, to the family, for starting that up. And again, my heart and love goes out to all the Descendants fans out there, Cameron Boyce's fans, and Cameron Boyce's family. My heart goes out to you guys, because again, nobody should ever have to bury their own kid, their own child. Nobody should ever have to do that. So from everything that he has done, from movies to television to music, with Disney, with his family, what he has done as a person, he was just an overall wonderful human being. And for everybody, and for a lot of you guys who got a chance to either meet him, see him, talk to him, and all that, just make sure that for all of your loved ones out there, spend every moment you have with them, because you never know when they're gonna go. Always keep that in mind. Always keep that in your heart, that be with the ones that you love, and always make sure you make every moment count. I saw the tribute video that they did for Cameron during right before Descendants 3 premiered, and at the end of Descendants 3, they did a tribute video to Cameron, and making every moment count. That's what life should be about. And I think that's what Cameron would want. He would want everybody to make sure that that there was a moment in their life that you have to make it count. Okay, you guys, so this was my discussion tribute to Cameron Boyce. If you guys enjoyed this video, give a thumbs up, comment below your favorite memories of Cameron Boyce, whether in the movies or TV shows or music that he did. Comment below your favorite moments of Cameron Boyce. Share this video as well, and subscribe as well. Alright, you guys, I'm Gabriel Reyes. I'm out. I'll see you next time.